Welcome to the channel. My name is Cole AK. So in the previous video, I talked about my main characters, heroes, of my high school book, Lucas and Kira. So today I thought it made sense to cover my main villain of Sparks, or at least the first part of Sparks. The Fallen Mage, Ajalon. Ajalon as a character existed before Lucas and Kira were even thought up of. Sparks originally was a world-building project for a D&D campaign sort of thing. So when I was making the lore, I wanted my version of Vecna. That's what I want. I want my personal version of, Vecna. And so I created, Ajalon, who was this powerful mage who became, was the first Lich and was considered, the Lich King. He was once part of, this ancient council of wizards who was, purpose it was to stop, dark magic and abuse of the spark. Ajalon didn't really like the council because he considered them too limiting on the powers of magic and power in general, and so he ended up starting a war, almost died in the conflict, and to keep himself alive, he turned himself into the first Lich, and he was sort of in this background urban legend throughout the world as this dark being who manifests a lot of the dark magic, curses, bad things that happen in the setting at the time. This was his character for a good long while, from late 2022, 2023, until I decided to make him the villain of my book when I eventually actually started work on Sparks. And so once I decided, Ajalon's gonna be my villain, he's gonna need some updates because he wasn't the most fleshed out character. I gave him some designs because his previous design was basically non-existent. I always kind of imagined Black Wolf from Wizards 1977. In the high school version of the story, he was the second son of the last Enchanted. His brother was Merlin, and yes, that Merlin from the old he is the Merlin from King Arthur and all that stuff, but he's like this alien instead of this human wizard dude, but he's still a wizard. It was weird, and it's the whole thing. But he was extremely power hungry, and would actually end up killing his own mother with an enchanted sword. And this ended up starting a war he would lose. And in the final battle, his head basically got split open, and he dragged himself into a dark, icy cave in basically the North Pole. And there he made a deal with the literal devil, that's a whole other thing I'm not going to get into for a while, but don't ignore that. But he became the first Lich, and for over 1,000 years he was plotting and scheming his revenge and his return. Once he returned, he came with an undead militaristic army, an airship, a crazy-ass necromancer, and he went on a rampage across Ethereal on a path of basically just mostly revenge before he even went to the Spark to absorb its power. But eventually in the end, Lucas and the others pretty much beat his ass, and he was pretty much thrown in magic jail in I think I decided he was gonna be some mirror, and he was a disembodied skull because his body got completely wrecked in the battle. However, a lot of this would change after I graduated and I thought more about the story and realized, man, I could rework Ajalon a lot more, and so I did. I decided to make him a lot more tragic. This fallen hero who fell from grace after a horrific accident. He still is the second, last son of the last Enchanted. He still has his brother. However, his brother isn't Merlin from King Arthur. More or less the same design that has changed the name and redid the backstory and stuff. I'll talk about him another day, but not now. 21 years after the accident where he is thought to be dead, he actually returned with an army of robots and wearing a mask of the ancients. I won't spoil too much other than that, but that's basically what I have for the current version of Ajalon. Oh, and he's also no longer a Lich. It's one thing, he's no longer a Lich. when making this version of Ajalon, my main inspiration was Darth Vader, of course, from Star Wars. Definitely has like, once like this hero main character who fell from grace. He was and became like this villain. He had a love, a partner. Eventually he lost that as well, like because of the accident. They thought he was dead. And I also had inspiration from like Nux from Wakfu, who was this like mage who like lost his family in an accident because he was obsessing over this object. I take a lot of inspiration from Nux in various ways. And if you've watched the show, you can start probably guessing what stuff I took inspiration from. Ajalon's design wasn't too hard. I had a pretty good idea of what his design was. As you can see, I was slowly developing what he would become over time. So once I finally have like the finished version here, it wasn't too hard to figure out. He wears bandages all over his body, basically. Like in the accident, he got like a bunch of burns, and so he has to like wear bandages a lot. He wears that mask, which is like this. He was like this device created by the ancients 1,500 years ago to like control his their robot armies, but they're like all the masks were like eventually lost. But Ajalon ended up finding one, and he wears it pretty much all the time as a way of covering up his scarred face, and he controls his robot army through that way. He also wears a blue scarf, which I won't get into, but there is some important stuff with that. But he wears a blue scarf, and I think it kind of gives him a little bit of presence. And it's like not exactly like a cape, but it flaps in the wind, I imagine, because it's very long. It's a very long scarf. One thing that I also thought that was funny when I was designing him, I kind of got a little bit carried away with the boots, as you can tell. They're very much Sonic-y. That wasn't even my intention. When I was designing the boot, it just kind of morphed into like this Sonic striped up boot you would like see in the Sonic series, which I thought that was funny. I don't hate it. I just think it's kind of funny how it like became that. But here you go. Here he is, Ajalon, the villain of my story and my very first book, fully redesigned and finally satisfied with the design. Thank fuck. Alright, thank you guys for watching the video. It'd be great if you liked and subscribed, and if you have anything you'd like to say, make a comment. It helps a lot. And I'll see you guys next time with another video about my designs, perhaps about his brother or a knight of living armor. We shall see. See ya.